Yippee-ki-yay, gone are the days. Alright, they're playing with Jimmy and Tom. Yippee-ki-yay, gone are the days. Living and being with Daddy and Mom. They have the old records of Hoppy and Gene. They've got that country feeling, you know what I mean. Every time
Hi, welcome to It Takes a Village. What's in Santa Barbara? Who's in Santa Barbara? I am your host, Bonnie Blomfield. And we have a great guest today. I'm so excited. And I have terrible time saying his name, but it's Mark Haas Amos. Am I right?
Amans.
Amans. I can never get it right. But listen, this book is fabulous. Where the Action Was. I've read it. It's full of history details because Mark has been there, done that with an illustrious history. We're so excited that he has come to speak with us. He has a new project going on, and he's going to tell us some of his history. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So, what have you been up to?
Well, I was on the road as a road manager for a little over 19 years. And I worked for a lot of big name groups, and it tells some of the names of the bands in this poster here. And I traveled more than anybody would ever want to travel. I've been in every state in the United States several times, every province and major city in Canada, out of the country, San Domingo, Dominican Republic on a USO tour. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But the one that really was the pusher was Dick Clark Caravan of Star Tours.
Wow, that's famous.
Yeah, and they always had about 8 or 10 acts that had top 100 records at the time. And the Raiders were the headliners, and they were also on the TV show at the headliners. And it was in black and white at 4:30 in the afternoon on ABC. So after working as a road manager and then also a tour manager for Wolfman Jack and a bunch of other people that I worked for, I then started a business of my own as what they call a groomer. I'm a groomer and developer of rock bands. Excuse me.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And what I do is I take a group that is not real educated in how to perform correctly in a concert, and I teach them all of what is necessary in the concert. And each individuals, I work with each individual and then also the band as a whole. And what you're trying to project is that the band is having a lot of fun while they're playing the song. And I'm working with a band right now, I call it the Evolution Band. And they're all polished musicians. Everybody's been playing rock and roll for a long time.
Wow.
One of the guys plays guitar, but he also comes out and does a routine with Elvis Presley, and he has the high collar uniforms and the wig and the whole thing, and then there's several Elvis Presley songs that they play.
Oh, I love Elvis.
It's just really fun.
Yeah,
You know, that's the main thing, is enjoy fun at the same time.
So is there some music, some 60s and 70s also?
That's what the whole thing is all about, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
It's like
music.
the Byrds had Turn, Turn, Turn and Tambourine Man written by Bob Dylan. They played it on one of the Dick Clark tours that we did. We had a lot of, well, anybody who had a hit record was on his show.
Yeah.
But the Raiders were always the headliners. Yeah, the Raiders came from Idaho, and they worked a circuit. They played all of Idaho, the state of Idaho, all of Montana, all of Washington State, Oregon, and Northern California, and British Columbia.
Wow, I didn't know they were from that area.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that was before they signed with Columbia Records. They were the first rock and roll band to sign to Columbia Records in 1965. Before that, it was all middle of the road type music, you know. Yeah.
Amazing. You know, you told me a story once, I think, about a car that was outside your father's house, and you were asked to go to a group or something. Somehow you kind of got started in the very beginning of this work when you found out you could go to a music concert or something. Am I wrong? I might have you confused with somebody.
I'm confused.
Okay, well. So how did you first get into this work?
Well, I'm originally from Olympia, Washington. That's right where Puget Sound is up there in that area. It's a really beautiful country.
Yeah.
And I was coming home one day. I was 19 years old, and I'm walking down my driveway, and here's a van, a Ford van, parked sideways in our driveway, and it had a cartoon character painted on the side of the van, and playing a guitar. And underneath that, it said the Viceroys from Seattle, Washington.
Wow.
And back in those days, there was the gig where what they do, they go play sock hops, where you go to a gymnasium and you have 300 or 400 people in there, and everybody takes their shoes off and dances in stocking feet.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, excuse me. So we played copy material. They didn't have really that much of original material. I worked for them for about a year and a half and worked that circuit that I mentioned. And then I started working for another group up there called the Wailers, and long before Bob Marley was around. And so they also worked the same circuit, but they were a little bit of more of a harder rock than the Viceroys. But the Viceroys were better performers. Yeah. And I drove their van that said the Wailers, Tacoma, Washington on it. And then I was in Montana, and we were playing the college there in Montana, and that night my mom called me at the hotel and said, "Mark, you got a phone call from Hollywood, California from a Paul Revere." I went, "What?
Wow.
Who the hell's Paul
How
Revere?"
exciting. Oh.
Yeah. So I took down the phone number, and the next day before we left from Montana, I called, and sure enough, he was down there, and they had just signed with Columbia Records, and they had played in Spokane with the Viceroys, and they asked the Viceroys who's the best band boy. Now, see, before roadie was involved, we were called band boys. So what band boys, roadies, road manager, tour manager.
Okay.
And you got to know really what you're doing there, or you're gone, you know, kind of thing. A lot of guys can't make that happen for everybody, you know. You have a lot of responsibility.
Well, a mistake in that milieu is a big mistake.
Yeah, certainly it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, what Paul said was that he asked the Viceroys, who's the best band boy up here in the Northwest, and they said it was me.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
almost all of them said it at unison, Paul said.
Huh.
So then they were going out on a Dick Clark they were going out on a Dick Clark tour. It was a bus tour, and so they flew me out of Seattle SeaTac to Chicago, and then we were going to transfer down to Tennessee out of Chicago, and I didn't know how to dress. I mean, here were these guys were big shots, and I didn't know, you know, how do I dress? So I wore a suit and had a hat, a businessman hat, and I looked like like Dick Tracy or something instead of a roadie, you know, or a band boy. And so I went to the gate that they were supposed to come into, and here comes these long-haired performers, and I walked up to Paul and says, "Are you Paul Revere?" And he says, "Oh yeah, you must be Mark Amans." And I said, "Yes, I am." And here I was standing there, but at first, before that happened, he asked me, excuse me, he asked me, what are you doing here? He didn't know who I was, you know, that kind of a thing. He thought I was a representative from Dick Clark's office.
Oh,
Because
he
I had
thought you were from Hollywood.
Because I had the suit on, you know.
Right, a suit.
So we got that straightened away, and the next thing you know, we're on a bus going, and we're dying.
Getting wrinkled.
That was before they put beds in the bus. Everybody's had to sit in the seats and sleep.
Oh, no.
And there was times we'd get done in Cleveland, Ohio, and had to drive 900 miles to Texas to play the next night.
Wow.
Yeah, a tour like that lasted probably 30 to 40 nights of gigs.
Yeah. Sounds tiring.
It was more than that.
More than tiring, but exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you met incredible people.
Yeah. It was really something.
Yeah. Tell me some of the people you've met.
Oh, it's met or bands, because we worked with a lot of people.
Both. Yeah.
Well, Wolfman Jack was a real nice guy. I'm sorry he's not with us anymore, but he had a tour coming out, and we were practicing at this big, huge auditorium. It's like it's a warehouse, actually, a big warehouse set up with a big stage. And so Wolf was putting his show together in there, and this is my first day. They hired me on the spot in the office. Don Kelly was his manager. And so I drove out to this place out in the valley, And so I walked in and I started looking around and what was going on, and here's this big stage and a lot of lights, and it looked like a concert hall is what it looked like. And so I went over and introduced myself to Wolf, and he says, Haas, as soon as I saw, or I'm sorry, they didn't call me Haas till later. He says, I'm sorry, but look, I could tell that you were a pro just by the way you were walking in here.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting, because he sure had been around by then, I bet.
Yeah, because most people will walk in and go, whoa, look at that, look at this, look at that. And I've been there, done that a million times, you know. So I was just, what's now? So they made me tour manager.
Incredible.
Yeah. I was in charge of everybody and everything. Yeah. And then one time with the Raiders, we had a 4-day weekend, and a lot of the promoters used to pay us in cash. Excuse me. And so I had there was a 4-day weekend, and I had to put the cash in the bank to transfer it back to Hollywood, and I couldn't go to the bank because of the 4th day. I had $148,000.
Wow.
And a lot of it was in small bills.
Oh dear.
So there's a bulk of money. I went out and bought a big suitcase and threw all this money into it, and I put it on the bed and slept with it in the bed that night at the hotel. Got out afterwards, got in the bus, took off, went to the next town, then I went to the bank, and transferred the money. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet they saw you coming with this huge suitcase.
They thought I was a drug dealer.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's responsibility, that much money. How old were you then?
I was 20, 21.
That's
somewhere in there.
Young.
Yeah.
Incredible. Huh.
I've had a lot of experience. We worked with a lot of movie stars as well. We did the Smothers Brothers show on TV.
Fun.
The Raiders did 520 shows for Where the Action Is. 520. And I worked in the booth with the director and the producer, letting them know what's going to happen here in a few seconds. Get ready for that camera, this camera, and go on, and so on. And so then they would know what to shoot by the time it comes up, and it come off perfect without having to clip or jump to another camera, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they started taking up. We did the Smothers Brothers, we did the Kraft Music Hall special, the Jack Benny special, on and on and on.
Jack Benny? That's just too much.
When I was standing in rehearsals with Jack Benny, I was talking to him, and he had his Stradivarius.
Oh.
And I said, "Can I squeak on your Stradivarius?" He said, "Sure," and he hands it to me, and I can't play, but I squeaked on it. But it's a real Stradivarius, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was a fun guy. He was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Smothers Brothers were fun too. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, talk about multitasking.
Oh. It comes at you from all angles.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Incredible.
I moved here in Santa Barbara 25 years ago. And I've never lived in any location, including my childhood, for 25 years.
Oh, I didn't know you'd been in Santa Barbara that long, really.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
I moved here in 1990.
Wow, so you really know Santa Barbara.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
didn't know that.
Right.
Huh.
I lived in Palm Springs before that. We came out here. Yeah. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Lately the weather's been incredible. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
We joined up with Doris Day. She got a big kick out of the Raiders.
Wow.
Yeah. I worked for the Blues Magoos. They were the first American psychedelic band in New York and in the States. And they had uniforms that lit up. They had a stripe down here and round things on their chest and stuff. And they play this one song, and I had it worked out with the house guys in the house about the lights. We'd drop all the lights, and black light would come on, and their uniforms would glow. And then we'd have this huge strobe light. The drummer, he had a friend that was designing the strobe light that was on the airline approach. So we're looking at a strobe light about this long and about this high. And when that thing went off, you could actually see the guy here, and 2 seconds later, all of a sudden he's over here. I mean, it was really, it brought out epilepsy in people that didn't know they had it.
Oh dear, oh dear.
A lot of people were actually falling down in front of the stage.
No good.
Jeff Daking, the drummer, he was playing, and then he started blah, 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 and he fell off the drum riser.
Ooh.
And he says, "Hoss, turn that damn thing off."
Yeah.
So I yanked the cord on that, and then I pulled the other lights back up, and I helped him back up in there. The band just kept on playing.
Yeah.
But the guitar player, you'd see him here, and all of a sudden he's there and he's there. I'd never seen anything that was that's quite that strong. You know?
Wow. Incredible. Huh.
Then I did the Who's tour. They're the very first, their first major tour.
They're major, all right. The Who.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And here's the rest of some of the rest of the groups here also.
Let's see here.
If you can pick this up.
What we got?
The Blues Magoos.
The Viceroys, Wolfman Jack, Cat Stevens, The Who, Herman's Hermit. Herman's Hermit. See, you get things correct. That's why you get hired all the time. Oh, that is amazing. What a poster. Incredible.
Here's a funny story that lets you know how popular Paul Revere and the Raiders were. We were in Seattle on a tour, and it was a Dick Clark tour, and also they had another Dick Clark tour, and the Rolling Stones were in their show.
Wow.
So we had 8 acts, and they had 8 acts, and we were in Seattle in the biggest building they've got, and the stage went around like this and stopped, and it would go back like this and stop so everybody could see them. Sometimes they'd let it go all the way around and then come back around again. So the Raiders played their show, and the Rolling Stones, they had top billing. And this actually happened. It blew me away. I couldn't believe it. The Stones come out, and the crowd starts yelling, "We want the Raiders! We want the Raiders!" And the Stones are playing their songs, and the audience is yelling, "We want the Raiders!"
Oh, you're kidding.
No, I'm not.
That's unbelievable.
I know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. I had to walk out there with the disc jockey up there. There was a promoter, and told him, you know, we got to respect these people.
Right, right. Oh, that's incredible. What a story. You have so many stories. I
Thousands.
can't believe it. And, you know, I really noticed that in reading this book, which is so fabulous, Where the Action Was. It's on Amazon if you want it. And these are really incredible, detailed, amazing stories. And there's a website, Where the Action Was. And you need to put in Haas, because there's a couple other with the same name. But you won't regret it. It's really, really fun.
The whole book is nothing but stories.
Yeah, yeah.
It's story after story. What I'm doing right now is one of my loves. I like to take a band that doesn't know how to perform really good, individually and collectively, and how to arrange their amplification to where the whole band can hear the whole band, instead of just themselves, like most guitarists turn up and they want to hear themselves. I have a theory that works, and I call it the wall, where the whole speakers go like this behind the band. And they're out here, and everybody can hear everything clearly.
Wow.
Yeah, and now I'm doing that now with these people, and they're really picking up on it. It's working out really well.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's great.
We're going to start playing some clubs here in Santa Barbara and some other things.
And so say it again, the name that we should look for to see that band, the Evolution Band.
The Evolution Band.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I mean, it takes a village, and this is a fabulous resource. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Bonnie from It Takes a Village. We're here on Ortega and Santa Barbara Street. What have we discovered? It's a Steve Nipper company. Let's go in and check it out. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Bonnie. I'm great. Thanks for stopping in today.
All right. What's going on around here?
Well, we're here at Soul Wave, where we make people's water better.
All right. And I'll say that you have a pretty good reputation in this town. How did you earn that?
Well, with 23 years of service to the community and doing a good job and standing behind what we do, that's what we've earned.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. And I just want to thank you, Bonnie, for helping us support It Takes a Village. We couldn't be happier.
Thank you.
You're
Take care. And so we learned more about Santa Barbara. We have a company that helps the economy of people because of their prices, and they help your good health with good water. Very, very important. Thank you, Steve Nipper at Soul Wave.
Hi, I'm Chris Jensen from Jensen's Guitar and Music Company, and I'm proud to sponsor It Takes a Village. And just so you know where we are, here's my card.
It started out one Saturday night at the Condor. You told me you didn't love me anymore. We started picking up the pace, then much to our disgrace, the bartender said, "Will you all kindly leave?" Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. And I'm thanking God that I'm over you. We went on over to your mom's trailer condo. Pretty soon, a coffee table flew. Well, the neighbors, they called the cops. They made it stop. And then your dog bit on my shoe. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. And I'm thanking God that I'm over you. Yes, I'm over you. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. The moral of the story is there is no moral. I'll leave that to those folks on Fox News. Another man might have been angry, another man might have been blue. Me, I just went out and bought some shoes. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. Ha, ha, yeah, yes, I'm over you. I do. And I'm thanking God that I'm over you. They're playing with Jimmy and Tom. Rodney and Gene, they've got that country feeling, you know what I mean.